Welcome to RPG PhD. I'm Dr. Ben. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is known for its gritty, immersive world, but at the core of the game is a simple yet powerful system, the percentile dice system. Whether you're picking a lock, casting a spell, or trying to survive a bar fight, your fate is in the hands of two 10-sided dice. I find that many players are familiar with D20 systems like Dungeons & Dragons, but often haven't experienced a percentile-based system. In this video, the first in our How to Play series, we're going to break down exactly how Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay's 4th edition dice system works, and by the end of this episode, you'll know everything about tests, opposed rolls, success levels, and extended tests, and hopefully, by the end of the series, understand the basics of the system so you can see if it's a system you would like to try out at your table. So let's dive in. In Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, every time you need a random result, you roll a 10-sided die, or a d10. These dice are labeled 0 to 9. A roll of 0 counts as a 10. Sometimes you roll multiple d10s and add them together, like 2d10 or 3d10, where you roll 2 or 3 dice and you add the results. However, the most important roll in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is the percentile roll, or D100. D100 means that you're trying to roll a number between 1 and 100. Each D10 represents a digit in the number. You roll 2 D10s, but you're not adding them together, you're looking at them side by side. One represents the tens die, the other represents the units die, and together they form a number between 1 and 100. For example, we roll a d10 and we get 1, then we roll another d10 and we get a 4. 1 and 4 means a percentile roll of 14. If we roll again, we get a 4 and a 2, so 42. If we roll 0 and 0, we get 100. Also, you can purchase percentile dice which show which die is which, so you can roll them together. One looks like this, the tens, and the other like this, the units. Or you can just roll 2 D10s of different colors, with each color assigned to the tens or the units. Or roll one at a time in order, first the tens, the first digit of the number, then the units, the second digit of the number. Now that you know how to roll percentile dice, let's talk about what those rolls actually mean in the game. When your character takes an action, the game master might just decide what happens based on common sense, your abilities, and the situation. But when things are uncertain or dangerous, that's when the dice take over. Tests are the backbone of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay's system. They determine whether your character succeeds or fails at a task. The game master will tell you when a test is needed, and you'll roll D100 to see if you succeed. The roll is then compared to one of your characteristics or skills. We'll explore characteristics and skills in more depth in future videos. Most of the time, if the task is simple, we just need a yes or no answer. This is called a simple test. If your roll is equal to or lower than your skill or characteristic, you succeed. If it's higher, you fail. For example, our character Molly is trying to leap across a stream. The Game Master calls for a simple agility test, and Molly's agility characteristic is 50. She rolls a 42, a success, and she leaps across the stream. Here's another example. Wilhelm is trying to push open a stuck door. His strength is 38, he rolls a 67, which is a failure, and the door doesn't budge. In Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, sometimes just knowing whether you succeed or fail isn't enough. Some moments demand more nuance, especially when it comes to combat magic or high-stakes situations. That's where dramatic tests and success levels come into play. Dramatic tests work just like simple tests. You still roll D100 and compare it to your skill or characteristic, but they also measure how well you succeed or how badly you fail. If you barely succeed in picking a lock, you might get the door open, but alert the guards. If you fail terribly in a horse chase, you might not just fall behind, you might fall off your horse. The difference between a great success and a horrible failure is measured in success levels. To determine success level, take the tens digit of the skill or characteristic being tested and subtract the tens digit of the roll. Let's look at an example. Ludwig is running across muddy fields, fleeing a very angry dog. Ahead of him, a tree. He needs to make a dramatic climb test to escape his pursuer. Ludwig's climb skill is 41. He rolls 29. The tens digit of his skill is 4, and the tens digit of his roll is 2. 4 minus 2 equals plus 2 success levels. A success. Ludwig climbs the tree with ease. Feeling confident, he turns around to taunt the dog, now barking and growling below him. Bad move. The GM calls for a dramatic perception test to see if he notices that the branch he is standing on has begun to crack. Ludwig's perception skill is 39. He rolls 82. The tens digit of his skill is 3, and the tens digit of his roll is 8. 3 minus 8 equals minus 5 success levels. Failure, crack. The branch beneath him breaks, and he falls to the ground hard, to the delight of the angry dog. So let's take a look at this chart, which shows some possible outcomes based on success levels. Let's start here with a marginal success, plus 0 to plus 1 success level. A plus 0 success is a roll that succeeds, but only just. If you have a 50 in a stat and you roll a D100, and the roll is 50, that's a success. 5 minus 5 equals a plus 0. A marginal success is a yes, but. You more or less achieve what you intend, but imperfectly, and perhaps with an unpredictable side effect. You climb the wall, but make a lot of noise, attracting the guards. Now let's look at a success. Plus 2 to plus 3 success levels, a solid success. You do exactly what you meant to do, no more, no less. An impressive success, plus 4 to plus 5 success levels, yes and. You achieve your goal with style exceeding your expectations. If you're leaping a ravine, not only do you succeed, but you roll gracefully when you land and you leap to your feet. An astounding success, plus 6 or more success levels, is yes, perfectly. The result is as good as it can be, perhaps with extra luck and fortunate coincidences thrown in. Not only do you succeed, but luck and fate seem to be on your side. Maybe you shoot an arrow that bounces off a shield straight into the enemy commander's eye. Now let's look at a marginal failure, minus 1 to minus 0. Minus 0 failure is a roll that fails, but only just. If you have a 50 in the stat and your D100 rolls a 51, that is a failure. 5 minus 5 equals 0, but a minus 0. No but. You marginally fail, perhaps accomplishing a portion of what you intended. You miss the ledge with your feet, but at least you don't fall. A failure, minus 2 to minus 3 success levels. This is no. You just plain do it wrong. Nope, you fail outright. If you were sneaking, you just made a noise loud enough to wake the dead. An impressive failure, minus 4 to minus 5 success levels. No and. Not only do you mess up, but you also cause additional things to go wrong. And it gets worse. Not only did you fail to pick the lock, but you broke your lockpick inside it. An astounding failure, minus 6 success levels or worse. No, not in any way. Everything goes wrong in the worst possible way. The GM will likely add to your woes with unanticipated consequences of your actions. Surely no one is this unlucky. You have clearly offended the gods. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. Your sword gets stuck in the doorframe. The guards hear you, and your pants fall down. The gods are clearly mocking you. In Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay's percentile system, most rolls result in a straightforward success or failure, but sometimes the dice go to extremes. If you roll a 0-1 to 0-5, you automatically succeed no matter how difficult the task was. Even if your skill is low, sheer luck can save the day. On the flip side, rolling 96 to 100 means automatic failure, even if your character is highly skilled. These extreme rolls can create dramatic moments, like a bumbling nobleman accidentally impressing a crowd with a perfectly timed joke, or a seasoned warrior fumbling and breaking their weapon in the heat of battle. If a player rolls that 0-1 to 0-5, it's an automatic success with at least plus 1 success level. If a player rolls a 96 to 100, it's an automatic failure with at least a minus 1 success level. So even if your skill is low, you can still get lucky, or very unlucky. Not all challenges are created equal. Some tasks are simple, while others push a character to their absolute limits. In this system, the GM assigns difficulty modifiers to reflect how easy or hard a test is. These modifiers adjust a character's target number before they roll, making success more or less likely. Most standard actions are challenging, which means plus 0, meaning that they rely entirely on a character's natural ability. So, very easy would be plus 60. Drinking a beer, even a halfling could do this in their sleep. Easy, plus 40. Walking across a sturdy balance beam over calm water. Average, plus 20. Climbing a fence or persuading a friendly shopkeeper to give you a discount. Challenging, again, a normal task like picking a lock or riding a horse on a well-trodden path. Difficult, -10, trying to decipher a faded ancient scroll in a language you barely understand. Hard, -20, climbing a castle wall in the rain while carrying a heavy backpack. Very hard, -30, scaling a sheer cliff in a storm with arrows flying past your head. So far we've talked about rolling tests for individual actions, but what happens when you're directly competing against someone else? Whether it's a duel, a chase, a battle of wits, or even a pie-eating contest, when two characters go head-to-head, we use an opposed test. Opposed tests work just like dramatic tests. Both participants roll a D100 and compare their success levels. Whoever has the higher success level wins. If both characters have the same success level, the one with the higher skill or characteristic wins. If it's still a tie, the GM decides whether it's a stalemate or if you both roll again. A noblewoman, Lady Seraphine, and a cunning rogue, Edric, are facing off in a high-stakes social duel at a royal court. Lady Seraphine and Edric are both vying for the Duke's favor at a grand banquet. To outshine the other, the GM calls for an opposed charm test. Lady Seraphine's charm is 55. Edric's charm is 48. Lady Seraphine rolls a 32, that's +2 success levels. Edric rolls 12, that's +3 success levels. And even though Lady Seraphine is naturally more charming, Edric rolls better. With +3 success levels versus her +2, the rogue successfully wins the Duke's favor, though Lady Seraphine isn't pleased. A burly mercenary, Gustav Ironhand, and a sneaky street thief, Rook, lock hands over a tavern table as onlookers cheer. Gustav challenges Rook to an arm wrestling match. Winner gets free drinks. The GM calls for an opposed strength test. Gustav's strength is 65, Rook's strength is 38. Gustav rolls a 78, that's -1 success level, and Rook rolls a 22, +1 success level. Despite being the smaller fighter, Rook uses technique and a bit of luck to outmaneuver Gustav. With a +1 success level advantage, he barely wins, though he might want to get out of the tavern before Gustav demands a rematch. If you want to know just how badly or gloriously you won or lost, you can take the difference between both success levels. The higher the gap, the more dramatic the outcome. So let's say Gustav had rolled worse and gotten -3 success levels instead of -1. That would have given Rook a +4 success level advantage, a crushing victory. Maybe Rook slams Gustav's arm onto the table instead. Sometimes a single roll won't cut it, whether you're picking a complex lock, deciphering an ancient text, or building an elaborate trap. You might need multiple tests to reach your goal. That's where extended tests come in. An extended test works just like a normal dramatic test, but instead of succeeding or failing in one roll, you build up success levels over multiple rolls. The Game Master sets a target success level to reach before you succeed. If your success level total ever drops below 0, you have to start over. A rogue named Vex crouches in a dark office, attempting to crack a safe while a patrolling watchman gets closer. Vex has found the nobleman's hidden safe, but it's locked tight. The Game Master says it requires 6 success levels on an extended pick lock test. Vex has a pick lock of 55 and only 3 rounds before the guards come knocking. Round 1, Vex rolls a 72, -2 success levels. The lock is tougher than expected. Vex has to start over. Vex rolls a 19 on round 2, +3 success levels. Success! She's making progress. Round 3, Vex rolls a 33, +2 success levels. Almost there, but she's 1 success level short. Vex hears footsteps. The guard is right outside the door. Does she abandon the safe and hide, or risk one last roll? Vex rolls a 41, +1 success level for a total of 6. Click, the safe opens. Just as the guard steps into the room, Vex slips into the shadows, prize in hand. Sometimes 2 heads or 3 are better than 1. In an assistance test, one character takes the lead on a test while others provide support, giving a +10 bonus per helper. Ronan, Brienne, and Cedric are snooping through a merchant's office while he steps out for tea. The Game Master calls for a difficult, -10, perception test to find a hidden ledger before he returns. Ronan has the highest perception, 54, so he rolls. Brienne and Cedric assist, +20 bonus, +10 per helper. Total target number 54 minus the difficulty of 10 plus the 20 assistance equals 64. Ronan rolls 37, success. Thanks to teamwork, Ronan spots the ledger just in time and the group vanishes before the merchant returns. While characters can assist each other in many tasks, there are important limitations. To provide assistance, a character must have at least one advance in the skill being tested. We will discuss advances in our character creation video. Someone with no knowledge of lockpicking, for example, can't help with picking a lock. Additionally, assisting characters must usually be adjacent to the one making the test, ensuring they are physically present and actively contributing. Some situations, such as resisting disease, poison, fear, or environmental hazards, cannot be assisted as these rely on individual resilience rather than teamwork. Lastly, a character can only receive assistance from a limited number of allies based on their characteristic bonus, meaning that while a few people can help push a boulder, an entire army won't make a difference when trying to solve a delicate puzzle. And that's the core of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay's dice system. Now you know how to roll, test, and interpret the results. But what happens when the dice hit the battlefield? In our next episode, we're diving into combat, where opposed tests determine who lives and who dies. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe to RPG PhD, and let me know in the comments below if you have played Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, and is there anything specific you want to make sure that I cover in future videos. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.